One of our most common complaints is that we have no time. No time for ourselves, no time to do the things that we always wanted to do, no time to even do all the things that we should do. But ironically, we have plenty of time for Facebook. We have plenty of time for texting. We will attend to a text immediately, but we'll put off attending to our health indefinitely. We also, it seems, have plenty of time for television. We know from the American Time Use Survey that the average person in North America watches 4.5 hours of television every day. That's 31.5 hours a week. But apparently we have no time. The fact is, we've got plenty of time. There are 168 hours in a week, no more, no less. We sleep for 56 of them, we work for 40 of them. That leaves 72 hours a week for all the other stuff. It's not time that's the problem. It's that we give our attention to things that are not only unimportant, they are unimportant to us. We live in a state of semi-permanent distraction, whereby we give our valuable attention to things that simply don't matter. You know, I've never met a single person who said that what's important to me is answering emails quickly, responding to texts in a timely manner, and watching back-to-back episodes of Game of Thrones. Those are my goals. No one would say that. Our stated goals are far nobler. We want to progress in our career. We want to spend time with our families. We want to exercise. We want to travel. We want to eat healthily. But when we match those goals up with how we actually spend our time, there is almost no alignment. Most of the research suggests that around 50% of our work time is spent on activities that make no contribution whatsoever to our actual work. And outside of our work, at least that same percentage is spent on activities that make no contribution to our happiness. We're wasting time. And the key to not wasting time on things that aren't taking you where you want to go is to be clear about where it is you want to go in the first place. Making the big decision about your goals makes all subsequent decisions about how you spend your time much easier. So not long ago I met with a friend who was frustrated because he wasn't going to meet the sales target that his company had set for him in 2017. And what frustrated him was that a large percentage of his day was eaten up with tasks that had nothing to do with sales. And I said to him, well, that's just an easy fix, is it not? Just cut out the parts of your day that aren't helping you make sales, and then replace those redundant activities with activities that do help you make sales. Isn't that obvious? Imagine how much more effective you'd be if you eliminated all time-wasting behaviours from your day and replaced those with a focused effort on what really mattered to you. Not only would you be more effective, you'd be more successful. You'd have more free time, you'd earn more money, and you'd be happier. Saying that you have no time, that's just an excuse. The fact is, you've got plenty of time. The real question to ask is, how would it be if you invested time in yourself? Take Spanx as an example. Spanx, for those of you who don't know, is a kind of underwear that makes you look slimmer than you really are. It's like magic for your thighs, I guess. And the owner of Spanx, Sarah Blakely, started out poor, and she ended up becoming the youngest self-made billionaire in America. And what fascinates me about her story is that it began in a library after work. So every night, Sarah Blakely would do her regular day job, and then after work, she'd go to her local library where she'd spend just an hour researching patents for lingerie. She didn't even know she could find that information out online. And by the end of the first night, all she had was an hour, not very much. And then you multiply that hour by a week, it's just 5 hours. And then by a year, you've spent 365 hours on you. And here's the thing, just like interest in a bank, The compounding effect of investing in yourself is massive. Eventually you get traction and things start to move. So here's something to think about. What if, instead of watching 31.5 hours of television every week, you spent that time on you, learning something you always wanted to learn, doing something that would take you where you really want to go. By the end of the first week, all you'll have spent is 31.5 hours. It's not very much. But if you keep doing that for 2 weeks, for a month, 6 months, by the end of the first year, you've spent 1,638 hours on yourself. Just cutting out something as trivial as television gives you an extra 1,638 hours of life a year. And that, by the way, is the equivalent of 40 weeks work time. Everything changes when you give yourself permission to choose how you will spend and not spend your time. What if there were no more pointless email chains and pointless meetings and even more pointless follow-up meetings? What if there were less message notifications on your phone? What if there was no Facebook and no Candy Crush? And what if all the time saved in these and countless other distractions was invested in you and in the things you want to achieve? Can you imagine how different life would be?